Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Labor Day. And in a little different twist, normally you have just me and maybe a trailer for the movie. But instead, Dominic's with us today. So thank you, Dominic, for joining us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. I just wonder if I could change my screen. I don't know what you're seeing or what it's recording, but it just got me in a little box. That doesn't matter. You might be the focal point of this video, Dominic, so you got to make it great. And the reason we're doing this is I think it's been at least 2 years. You've been requesting me, hey, you got to review this movie around Labor Day. And then you came up with the great idea, hey, let's do it together. Yeah, so here we are. We're going to do it. I've been 2 years in the making. This is a 2013 film, hour and 51 minutes long. This depressed single mom, Adele, and her son, Henry, offer a wounded, fearsome man a ride. A police search in town for an escaped convict. The mother and son gradually learn his true story as their options become increasingly limited. So that's what it's about. It's 6.9 on IMDb. 54,871 people rated it so far, so a lot of people have seen it. Kate Winslet, Josh Brolin are some of the names on here. Tobey Maguire's name, Monica Monroe, James Vanderbeek, J.K. Simmons. And it is directed and written by Jason Reitman. So with all that said, let's hear it. Let's jump into you, Dominic. Give us your first thoughts.
I mean, I feel like I've been championing this movie for well over 10 years at this point, a dozen years at this point. I mean, I saw it when it first came out. I just thought that the cinematography of the movie was fantastic. The directing was second to none. Every single time I watch it, I feel like I'm transported back to that small town in Labor Day. I honestly thought that, and I'm sure that, basically spoilers in this to some capacity. I think we have to do spoiler. I felt like I was transported to that small town, and the love story between Adele and Frank and Henry becoming like a little family, I thought was actually very beautiful, and I really mean that. He was an ex-convict, but maybe he had a heart of gold at the end of the day. He ended up coming to live with them after he essentially forced his way in, actually. So he ended up coming to live with them, and they became like a little family unit. It didn't seem to me like Henry had much of a father figure at all. So Frank became a surrogate father figure to him, in my opinion. Playing baseball, barbecues, all around Labor Day in that sleepy town summer. And the scene where they made the pie made me think of like the scene in Ghost. I honestly thought it almost drew me to tears. I really did. And then you got the backstory of both of them, all of the dreadful things that happened to Adele, all of the dreadful things that happened to Frank. I'm going to maybe let you talk about that, or we'll kick that around, exactly what that is or what that meant. Almost parallel storylines in a way, in my humble opinion. Great storytelling there. And of course, at the end, as things go, they were romantic in nature between Adele and Frank. It was a romantic movie, so figure what happens there. Unfortunately, at the end, Frank is taken away in a paddy wagon. I mean, he had to be. There was a standoff at the house, and they took him to a federal penitentiary. But again, so many years later, at the very end, it was quite beautiful where they were together, even though so many years later. And also a bit of the minor redemption arc with the father of Henry. He's been in so many movies, such a nice actor. We love him. At the very end, he said, "I'm sorry I cut out on you." And it was almost tears in the eyes of Henry. I really did think it, to me, I mean, I'm probably in the minority, but I really did like it in all candor and honesty. There was a lot going on in the movie, and it just captured my attention. I might be one of the only fans of Labor Day, but honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing what you think. Win, lose, or draw. I mean, everyone has opinion. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree or whatever. You didn't tell me, so I mean, I'm anticipating your concrete thoughts on Labor Day.
Yeah. So jump in. You're not alone, obviously. 6.9. That's a pretty solid score on IMDb with 54,000. So I think a lot of people loved it. One of the things that I forgot to say, it's a coming of age crime, drama, romance thriller. One of the things yeah. And going into it, I saw it at first, and I imagine it because the cover cover of the two of them there, and I'm like, okay, this is like a love story or romance, right? But it jumps out initially as more of that crime action type thing where, you know, they meet in Walmart or wherever they are, and that's where they get the ride home. And it's like, not even a spoiler at that point. That's right there. You know, he's the criminal and they're taking him to his home, right? So then, you know, as you said, it develops over the Labor Day weekend, a little bit more of a father figure, a romance develops, that type of thing. And then we get glimpses into their past, which really builds up their characters a little bit. But I tell you what, when they go through their past, it's not clear cut what's going on. You know, they're leaving you breadcrumbs of what's going on. In fact, when I first started watching it, Manika Monroe, I love her. I thought she was a young Kate Winslet. And like her boy, you know what I mean? But she wasn't. She was Josh Brolin's wife early in the day, you know what I mean? And their whole backstory. And I won't share all of that, but they have each, you know, two sides of a backstory, and gives a lot depth of what's going on and why he's potentially, you know, why he's a criminal and stuff like that, and why she's single, and why Henry doesn't have a father, or he has a father, but he has you know, an estranged father, I guess, in a sense. So like all that's there, and it's all wrapped in this you know, crime type thing of hiding out. So it's like it's a good little love romance story wrapped in like kind of a thriller type story. So I did enjoy it. I actually at first, you know, I thought it was very predictable, I'll say, at first, without knowing their character backstories, right? Adding that piece of it with him and the younger character, and, you know, when it all happened to get him where he is, that really changed my perception of the entire movie. You know, like I really, you know, because you wanted to know, like you knew, you could tell by watching it, once they come in, they're going to fall in love. Something's going to happen, you know, and, you know, the only thing you have to tell, are they going to run away together or are they going to be separated? Right. But you know, that's happening. That's how predictable it was. But then finding out the backstory on why he is running away, I almost thought they were going to turn around and be like, you know, Henry was his son, you know, something like that. Like when they were talking, because Manika Monroe, is this really my child, and all that kind of stuff. But then you find out what really happens there. So, yeah, all in all, good movie. Go ahead. Sorry.
Absolutely.
So I do want to call out a couple of my notes here, right? So first of all,
you really got into this, Jeff. I appreciate it.
I did. It's surprising. Your audio is causing an echo. Oh, I apologize. I'll back up a little bit. That's what my screen tells me. All right. So at first, when I was watching the young Josh Brolin from Goonies, everybody knows Josh Brolin, right? I mean, I was looking at him. I was like, it's amazing what they did to make him look so young. Until I realized that was an actor.
It's a different actor. They use the same actor in a couple of movies to play him. Young.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I was like, before I say that, I should look at it. And I was like, oh, he's just an actor. He's like a doppelganger. I was like, that was awesome. Some other things. Tobey Maguire is one of the first 4 actors listed on IMDb. He's actually narrating Henry's part as he grows up, but then he shows up at the end of the movie, which is great. I love that. Yeah. So James Vanderbeek, I am a Dawson's Creek fan. I liked Varsity Blues he was in, but he only had like 2 small parts. Yeah, you know what I mean? But they advertised him like, oh, okay, he had 2 small parts. He was the cop that came in. And then J.K. Simmons also, like, he's on the bill, and I'm like, oh, great. And he knocked on the door one time.
He was the all shucks neighbor. He knocked on the door to give him the ingredients for the pie. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're watching this movie for James Vanderbeek or J.K. Simmons, you know, you don't watch it for that reason. But I also said, I mentioned already, Manika Monroe, I like her. Don't like her in this movie. You know what I mean? She's a great actress, but you don't like her character, right? I mean, yeah. No. So that's disappointing. And then another surprise for me was, I think it's Dylan Minnette. He was in.
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah. So he was in this too. I think he's kind of stepped away from Hollywood right now. I know this was 12 years ago. You know, he did a couple other things, but he was in it as well. So
I've always liked him.
What's that?
I've always liked him. He's got an everyman quality, like a young guy, every young guy type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. The only criticism I have in my notes is here, and then I get it. It's Josh Brolin. the fact that I wish I had Josh Brolin's power to make a woman fall in love with me over a 4-day weekend and want to run off to Canada. That's the only. I was like, oh, but but that's where the backstories come in.
I mean, it was ridiculous. It was unreal. But he did so much around the house. He cut the wood. He went on the roof. He did. I wish he came to my house and would clean my laundry, do all my stuff. He was like Tony Dan, Mr. Mom or something for a couple of days there.
Yeah,
he did everything around the house. He was shorting her with the wood, cleaned the roof. He did it all.
Yeah, that's for sure. Absolutely.
I don't think I'm gonna go to Kate Winslet's house and she'll fall in love with me in 2 or 3 days. I don't know if it's possible. She looked beautiful in this movie, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there you go. That's what I got. Any last thoughts on it?
I think that this is a bit of an underappreciated gem. I've been telling you, as a half joke but half truth over the past couple of years to give it a try. First of all, I appreciate that you did. But I really do think that this is an underrated one. Like if you mentioned Labor Day, no one's going to know what the heck that is. And it's barely on. It's not on streaming. It's on Pluto, whatever we saw it on, some random streaming service. It's a good movie, and it deserves more, attention.
Yep. No, I agree. And the setting is 1987, and I thought they did a great job with that. That station wagon, everything that was around. I always look at the aesthetics when they put movies in different time periods. So that was really cool.
Give it a try. I mean, it was far from a labor to get through. It was a pleasure to get through, in my humble opinion. I've seen it so many times. Maybe I'll watch again on Labor Day and as we're filming in a week and a half from now, something like that.
Yeah, there you go. So you have from now until Labor Day to check this out and let us know your comments. What do you think? You agree? You disagree? You like? Didn't like? Whatever your thoughts. Love to hear them. But that's it for Labor Day. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Let us know your comments. Let us know if you like these types of reviews. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.